Coming up on China Report, China and Vietnam have pledged to achieve common development and common prosperity under the Belt and Road Initiative. And Asia's largest dredging vessel has started water testing in East China's Jiangsu province. Hello and welcome to this edition of China Report. I'm Guowei in Beijing. Vietnam and China have pledged to seize the opportunities brought about by China's Belt and Road Initiative to achieve common development and common prosperity. The pledge came when General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam Central Committee Nguyen Phu Trong and Vietnamese Prime Minister Nguyen Xuan Phuc met with visiting Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi, respectively.
In his meeting with the Chinese Foreign Minister on Friday, Nguyen Phu Trong congratulated Xi Jinping on his re-election as the General Secretary of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of China. He also applauded the elevation of the Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era into the party's guiding principles. Nguyen Phu Trong said his country will learn from China's successful experiences to further push forward the development of its own socialist cause. For his part, Wang Yi said the two countries should elevate the bilateral ties to a new high and open a new chapter for the comprehensive strategic cooperative partnership between the two countries by building a community of shared future. Also on Friday, Vietnamese Prime Minister Nguyen Xuan Phuc met with the Chinese Foreign Minister. The Prime Minister said Vietnam and China are both socialist countries and Vietnam is willing to unswervingly stride forward along the socialist road with China. Wang said China's Belt and Road Initiative creates important opportunities for China and Vietnam to carry out pragmatic cooperation, which will accelerate the achievement of common development and common prosperity between the two sides. During his meeting with Vietnamese Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Pham Binh Minh, Wang said Xi's forthcoming visit to Vietnam is the most important political agenda in the bilateral ties this year. The Chinese Foreign Minister hoped that the visit will determine the development direction of the relations between the two parties and the two countries.
You're watching China Report. Let's see some other news in brief. A Chinese-made dredging vessel, the largest of its kind in Asia, started water testing in East China's Jiangsu province on Friday. The vessel, named Tianquan Hao, is 140 meters long. With a design capacity to dredge 6,000 cubic meters per hour, the vessel can dig as deep as 35 meters under the seafloor. Deputy Chief Engineer said on seafloor with rocks, the vessel's 6,600 kilowatt dredging equipment can mince hard rocks and pump the salt into the vessel, where it can be automatically blown out as far as 15,000 meters away. The vessel is expected to be delivered in June next year. China's top legislature on Saturday adopted decisions to apply the newly adopted national anthem law in Hong Kong and Macau special administrative regions. According to the decisions adopted by the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress, or NPC, at a bi-monthly session, the national anthem law will be included in Annex 3rd of the Basic Law of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region, or SAR, and Annex 3rd in the Basic Law of the Macau SAR. The NPC Standing Committee may add or delete laws listed in Annex 3rd after consulting the committees of the Basic Laws of Hong Kong and Macau SARs under the NPC Standing Committee and two SAR governments. The two committees and two SAR governments have agreed that it is in line with the SAR Basic Laws. The two committees and two SAR governments have agreed that it is in line with the SAR Basic Laws and appropriate to add national anthem law to the Annex 3rd. You're watching China Report. Let's see some other news in brief. A Chinese-made dredging vessel, the largest of its kind in Asia, started water testing in East China's Jiangsu province on Friday. The vessel, named Tianquan Hao, is 140 meters long. With a design capacity to dredge 6,000 cubic meters per hour, the vessel can dig as deep as 35 meters under the seafloor. Deputy Chief Engineer said on seafloor with rocks, the vessel's 6,600 kilowatt dredging equipment can mince hard rocks and pump the salt into the vessel, where it can be automatically blown out as far as 15,000 meters away. The vessel is expected to be delivered in June next year. China's large passenger aircraft, the C919, has completed its third test flight. The aircraft took off Friday morning from Shanghai Pudong International Airport and reached an altitude of 3,000 meters. The flight lasted for 3 hours and 48 minutes. With a standard range of 4,075 kilometers, the C919 is comparable with the updated Airbus A320 and Boeing's new generation 737. As the 36th International Istanbul Book Fair kicked off in Istanbul on Saturday, Chinese books and books on China in English and Turkish drew the crowds. It's the 5th time for China to take part in the book fair since it started in the 1980s. The Chinese stall displays about 400 books in 9 categories. The book fair has become one of the largest in the region, and it will end on November the 12th. The Communist Party of the Russian Federation and the Communist Party of China have jointly published a new book on Vladimir Lenin to commemorate this 100th anniversary of the October Revolution.
The book was presented at the 19th International Meeting of Communist and Workers' Party in St. Petersburg on Thursday. Named The Win of October, the book is a memoir of Lenin with rare photographs. The book includes a historical narrative on the main events of Russia's 1917 revolution. Deputy head of the International Department of the CPC Central Committee said the book has already been translated into Chinese and will soon be published in China. He said the October Revolution transformed dreams into reality and showed China the path of socialism.
China and Greece have signed a series of memorandum of understanding to promote bilateral economic cooperation in key sectors under the 2017-19 Greece-China Action Plan.
On Thursday, the two sides specified details of cooperation projects included in the 3-year action plan and witnessed the signing of several MOUs, which are expected to further boost bilateral ties.
Today, we have the first tangible results. The signing of a series of agreements and a memorandum of understandings are the first steps in the implementation of this action plan. Therefore, we are on the right path.
Xi Jinping, National Development and Reform Commission Vice President, said he is happy to see the action plan has provided a good collaboration platform and some initial tangible results have been achieved. The plan was sealed in May this year in Beijing during a visit of Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras.
U.S.-China economic collaboration has boosted the bilateral relationship between the two countries. Neil Bush, younger brother of former President George W. Bush, has made remarks during a recent interview with CNC. China Report has more.
Bush stressed the role of economic partnership in the strengthened level of U.S.-China bilateral relations. Born and raised in Texas, Bush is proud of his hometown where energy, medical industry, and space center are famous in the world. He says as one of the key industries in Texas, the energy sector provides a steady bridge for Chinese companies to invest and do business. Bush's comments are echoed by Charles Foster, chairman of U.S.-China Partnerships. Foster says the economic relationship will not only benefit the two countries, but also the whole world economy at large.
A fisherman who has been casting his nets on the Mississippi, the U.S., for more than 40 years are now benefiting from China's economic boom. We have his story.
After less than 10-minute cruising on the Mississippi River in West Kentucky, Mark Butler stopped his boat near a shoal and began to cast nets. He harvested 400 pounds of fish from 2 fish nets on this bright autumn morning. Before 2013, he sold his fish either to a market up north or to a seafood restaurant in Ledbetter, Kentucky. Then Angie Yu came to the city of Wickliffe in West Kentucky and opened the Two Rivers Fisheries to process fish from the Mississippi.
500,000 pounds in a year, at least, of all total.
Butler said Angie Yu pays a good price and she's been good, so he has no need of searching for other places.
All of our Asian carp goes to Angie Yu.
Butler is not the only one who embraced Yu's Two Rivers Fisheries. Wickliffe, a small town with a population around 800, per capita income slightly above $17,000, and 16.1% population living below the poverty line, received Angie with open arms.
It's been a tremendous asset to the community, yes. Of course, there's the invasive species, what some people call it, but she's taken An old American saying, you take lemons and make lemonade. Well, she's taken lemons and made lemonade. She's taken what some people call an invasive species, and actually we know the carp is a fine food for the Chinese people, and she's taken that. And
before launching Two Rivers Fisheries in 2012, 60-year-old Yu had been engaged in international trade. In this sense, the company is just an extension of her business, as she is exporting 80% of the processed fish to the Middle East, East Europe, and Asia. Two Rivers Fisheries now employs 16 local residents doing processing work and plant, and purchases fish regularly from more than 70 fishermen nearby. The production was 500,000 pounds in the first year of production in 2013, then doubled to 1 million pounds in 2015, and further doubled to 2 million pounds in 2016. She recently signed an agreement with Jiangsu Renchen Agricultural Technology Company from China, under which the latter will provide this immersion freezing technique and an investment of $40 million. Yu's efforts also coincide with the U.S. government's eagerness to remove some of the Asian carp from the river. In the 1970s, the United States imported Asian carp to resolve the problem of plankton. And in the early 1990s, the Asian carp got into the Mississippi River, and since then they have expanded and multiplied rapidly.
Now turning to Finland, the Helsinki-Vantaa Airport has been adapting more of its services for Chinese tourists as the number of Chinese passengers traveling to Finland increases.
The airport has launched a series of services to meet the needs of Chinese passengers. These include Chinese-speaking services and Chinese signboards and maps. The senior vice president of Finnish airport operator Finavia spoke to CNC about the measures they have taken for Chinese passengers.
Well, for the Chinese customers, we have, for example, our signage is in Chinese. We have Chinese guides here to help our Chinese customers. We have also launched, there's Alipay and UnionPay for our Chinese customers to make shopping easier for them. We have a hot water automat because that was something that the Chinese passengers suggested us to have.
Some shops here have adopted remote translation as software. If Finnish attendants encounter problems communicating with Chinese customers, they can open a tablet and use the remote translation application. Finnish airport authorities takes China as an important market.
Well, China is of course a very important market for us. There are a lot of routes to China from Helsinki Airport, and Helsinki is on the shortest route between China and Europe. And of course, our customer Finnair has 6 routes actually to China.
And the growing number of Chinese tourists to Finland reflects the greater trend of more Chinese visitors to Europe.
China's largest trade fair has concluded its 122nd session in Guangdong province with more foreign buyers and more deals.
Export turnover reached $30.1 billion, up 8.2% year-on-year. According to fair spokesman Xu Bing, a total of 191,950 buyers from 213 countries and regions attended the fair, up by 3.4%. Xu said over 60% of industries saw an increase in deals.
Exhibitors today more than ever valued innovation the most. We are so happy to see more high-tech, high-value-added and green products this year. Meanwhile, turnover of these exhibitors reached $10.8 billion, up 30.6% year-on-year.
Additionally, export turnover with Belt and Road countries continued a solid performance. Buyers and turnover from these countries increased higher than the total growth.
Export turnover to the Belt and Road countries reached $9.37 billion, up 30.6% year-on-year, and accounted for about 31.3% of the total. And we saw huge potential and a strong demand in areas like building materials, large machinery and equipment, household appliances, textiles and apparel, and food.
The China Import and Export Fair, known as the Canton Fair, is held every spring and autumn in Guangzhou. It is widely seen as a barometer of China's exports.
Since opening up 40 years ago, China has lifted an unprecedented 800 million people out of poverty. In a little more than a generation, millions have been moved from hunger and hardship to hope and happiness. Today, China Report takes a look at how it's done that and what differences those changes have made to people's lives.
How many people in the world are living in poverty? Far more than you can imagine. UN statistics show some 1 billion people live in extreme poverty in today's world. More than 800 million endure hunger and malnutrition. China is just one of these countries suffering from this problem. But its successful tackling of the problem has been unprecedented. This ropeway was the way to the outside world. The village on this cliff is called Yushan. It's located in central China's Hubei province. This open-sided cable car was also the only way for the children in Yushan to travel to and from school every day. The mountainous terrain, surrounded by streams and swirling clouds, makes for picturesque scenery. But in a hanging basket, many are in no mood to enjoy.
喝个吧，喝个吧呀。
怎么？现在见，喝吧。每天早上8点送过去，下午3点接回来。
The shout is sending the signal. They are ready to go. This ropeway has ferried villagers for nearly 2 decades. But no more. At a cost of almost 5 million yuan, or around $750,000, the local government has carved a new 20-kilometer cement road out of the mountains. Now children here can finally go to school via real road. No more ropeway.
我的心里很开心。以前我最怕坐索道了，我想对修路的人们说辛苦了。
All the herders of Kizilto village are taking a final photo of the summer pasture, where their ancestors have grazed for generations. They will not be back next year. They are of the Kyrgyz ethnic minority, living in Akto County in northwest China's Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region. The herders have always led a nomadic life, and their journey from place to place is often dangerous. The isolated village has 195 households. 132 of them live under poverty line. The plateau region of Akto is one of the 14th most impoverished area in the country. With it being so difficult to build infrastructure and improve living conditions there, relocation is the only realistic choice. The local government plans to relocate all the 20,000 herdsmen by 2020. The mountains will no longer obstruct their path to a better life. Gulan Hua is an embroiderer. She is also a Miao girl. The Miao are the 6th biggest of China's 56 ethnic groups. Any Miao girl deft enough to thread a needle is soon taught how to sew. Gu lives in the Meixiang, one of Guizhou's poorest villages. In 2013, the local government started a poverty relief initiative to teach women ways to make money from their embroidery. Gu joined the program and established a cooperative with neighboring villages, which has trained 800 people. The Meixiang Cooperative now has secured international contracts from the US, Germany, and Switzerland. It generates annual sales of more than 1 million yuan.
我们有产业呢，我们都有些脱贫。
For hundreds of years, the Miao have been marginalized. Now they're finally in control of their own destiny. They're crafting a way out of poverty. From 1981 to 2012, China has lifted more than 790 million of its citizens out of poverty. That accounts for more than 71% of global poverty reduction. In 1990, 61% of all Chinese were living in extreme poverty. By 2016, it was about 3% and still falling. In the past 5 years, the number of people living in poverty dropped to about 43 million at the end of 2016, from nearly 100 million at the end of 2012. It is predicted to lift 66 million out of poverty in the 2013 to 2017 period. That figure is equivalent to the total population of France. China has got there by being proactive. By the end of 2016, around 775,000 officials have been sent to rural areas. From 2013 to 2017, the special funds allocated to poverty alleviation by the central government have been increasing year by year, totaled $42 billion. Besides combating poverty at home, China has also done its bit to help other developing countries. Since its birth in 1949, China has provided nearly $60 billion to over 160 countries and international organizations. It has sent more than 600,000 aid workers abroad and given medical assistance to 69 countries. The goal by the United Nations is to end all extreme poverty by 2030. China pledges to reach this ambitious goal 10 years early, and it's on track. But it knows that poverty is a chronic problem, one that can only be tackled by the whole world fighting against it together.
The Guilin-Sanjiang Highway in South China's Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region has been put into operation this week. Measuring 135 kilometers, the highway links Guilin, a well-known tourist city, and mountainous Sanjiang-Dong Autonomous County in Liuzhou City. Before we go, China Report shows you an aerial view of the spectacular landscape along the road. And that was the end of today's program. For more news and highlights, you can also find out more at our website, en.cncnews.cn. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.
云天无际，承载梦想。中国南方航空是中国运输飞机最多、航线网络最发达、年客运量最大的航空公司。亚洲第一，全球第三，是南航缔造的业界奇迹。 蓝天壮志情，云海谱华章。
同心地产，芝加哥最大的华人中介团队，无论是家居或是商业地产，给你带来全方位的最佳服务。
专业的团队，丰厚的经验。
Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to the Lake Cook Law Group.
投资理财、法律咨询，芝加哥专业律师团队为您的梦想提供最安全的保障。
Hi, this is Little Chinese Channel. 小小中文 Lesson 6. In this lesson, we will be teaching you these 6 Chinese characters. From our last lesson, we learned the character ding. If we put a box in the middle of ding, it turns into ke. Ke means may or might. 可以 means may. Ke is a building block of these 2 characters. If we put another ke on top of 可. This is 哥means older brother. 哥哥 means older brother. This character contains 哥. Let's learn a new root character. What's this? Yo means again. 又一次 means once again. Take yo and give a dot in the middle so it turns into 叉 means fork. 叉子 means fork. If we take off this part, it turns into 意 means meaning. 意 means meaning. Put a line through it. It is 文 means literary or culture. 文学 means literature. 文化 means culture. Let's write. 可 哥 又 叉 意 文 room. Bye-bye. The lesson is done.